Hello and happy December, wonderful patrons. So today I have a short practice for you today, and this is focused on building strength and mobility in the hip. So let's go ahead and get to it. What you'll need is a sticky mat or just a flat open space, one yoga belt, a bolster, and a block. So we're going to start off with the Supta Padangusthasana poses, reclined big toe pose. And you could just follow along with me. Now, obviously, if you don't have a yoga strap, you can always just find something similar to this. Let's start off in Supta Tadasana. So you're going to start with your legs together, lying down. And you can just have that belt handy, grab the sticky mat, roll your upper arms from inside out so your shoulder blades move onto your back. And then take your legs together and extend from the inner groin to the inner heel. So shoulders down, chest wide. Let the abdomen release towards your spine and extend from the inner groin to the inner heel. Keep the left leg stable, and then we'll take the belt around the right leg, and then work on extending that leg up to the ceiling. So first, we're just going for straight arms, straight legs here. Have that belt at the foot where the heel meets the arch, so not up on the toe mound here. There are reasons why you might do that, but let's go ahead and have that belt where the heel meets the arch, and then just work to get straight legs. So keep your abdomen soft, face soft. Careful not to tense your toes, and then also reach out that down leg. Reach out from the inner groin to the inner heel. So like if you were wearing pants with an inseam, you want to make that whole inseam of the leg long. And legs straight. Okay, just a little bit of movement here now. Take the belt in the left hand only. You can even take your right hand and cup that right hip down, and then just move that right leg ever so slightly to the left, and you'll probably get a strong sensation, like a kind of stretch, almost twangy stretch on that right outer thigh. And just stay with that for a few breath cycles. See if you can use the exhale to relax some of the resistance to that sensation. So, when we are tight in a certain area, we may feel some tensing up, some resistance when there's a strong sensation. So see if you can use that exhale to relax some of your resistance. And then bring that leg back, and then keep the left buttock down, left hip down. You can even put your hand on that left hip or alongside that left buttock to see that it stays down, and take that right leg to the right any amount. Keep your navel and your nose in the center. Pelvis rolls from right to left, even though the leg goes out to the right. So the leg is going to the right, but the pelvis rolls right to left. And then inhale, bring that leg up. And then one more time, let's take the belt in the left hand, cross that leg over from right to left. And watch that foot on the ground, the leg doesn't fall out like this, but that you keep the heels down, the toes up. Careful not to overly tense your toes or your jaws or eyes. And then again, bring that leg up. All right, let's remove the belt, slide the right leg down to meet the left leg. Just give yourself a moment there again in Supta Tadasana. So this is like Tadasana, mountain pose, but lying down. And notice the difference between the two sides of your legs, your hips. Just notice what you feel on the two sides. Any change, right side, left side. Let's keep that right leg stable, right leg down on the floor, and take the left leg up. Bend the left leg, take the belt, the strap, where the heel meets the arch on the left leg, and then extend that left leg up to the ceiling. So we're just working on a 90-degree angle for now. Now, if you can keep the leg straight and do away with the belt and hold your foot, that's fine. You're welcome to do that. But, for most of us, we have plenty to work on holding the belt, holding the strap, and just working on getting those legs truly straight. So the feeling you want in the back of the legs here, like if you imagine there was a flower on the center of your hamstring there, and that flower blooms from the center out. So don't just think about stretching vertically, but think about blooming and widening the back of the leg on the calf and the hamstring. And then keep that right leg long, extend the inner groin to inner heel. Again, don't let this hip ride up, but keep this outer hip crease down so the sides of the waist stay nice and long, and that will facilitate a long spine too. Okay, take that belt in the right hand only. You can even take a hand on that left outer hip crease, draw it down so that your sacral area stays nice and wide, and then cross that left leg over to the right just until you get that kind of twangy sensation on that left outer leg. and stay with this, breathe with this for a few cycles. So can you use that exhale again to soften some of the resistance around that tightness or that sensation? Jawline soft, eyes soft, throat soft. Okay, and then bring that leg back. Put your hand on your right hip, or you could put it along that right outer buttock to see that it stays down. And then take that left leg over to the left. Better to go slowly here and watch what happens. Watch how when that leg goes over, it's easy to kind of just tilt and go with the leg, right? So don't let that happen. Keep that right buttock planted down and then take that left leg to the left. As the left leg goes to the left, roll your pelvis from left to right so that your navel and nose and sternum chest stay facing the ceiling. Okay, and then inhale to come up. And you can repeat this a couple times. You know, I'm kind of giving you a sampling here of what to work on, but you can repeat that cycle as many times as serves you. Put the belt down, reposition yourself in Supta Tadasana. Take your legs together. I like to grip the sticky mat and roll those biceps inside out. I find that this takes my shoulder blades onto the back. It gets my upper chest to spread, and it's a nice feeling on the shoulders and back. And then, of course, keep those legs nice and long. Okay, now we're going to take a slightly different approach. So I'm going to go ahead and show you with my left leg because that's the leg that's closer to you. So you're going to bend up that leg, whichever leg you choose, extend it up like Supta Padangusthasana 1, right? But no belt, so we have to use our thighs now. And then you're going to hold that leg up just for a few breaths. Now we're really gripping the muscle to the bone here. We're hugging that muscle to bone. So this is an important thing, you know, for bone health, especially for women. You know, it's more common through the aging process that women will tend to lose some density in the bones, which can lead to osteopenia, osteoporosis. So doing work that hugs the muscles to the bone is very important for nourishing the health of the bones. And then we'll take that leg out to the side and let it fall all the way to the side, even if you do a bad pose. So even see how my right hip comes way up, it's okay. I'm just gonna let it happen. Okay, now inhale, exhale, lift that down leg up and hold it just 8 inches off the floor. And don't forget to breathe. You're gonna most likely feel a really strong grip in that outer hip. And this is good for your hips. Again, this is good for nourishing the health of the bones. And then release. And also just keeping strong, healthy joints too. Inhale, exhale, lift that leg up, hold it, breathe, and release. And let's do 3 times on each side. Exhale, inhale, exhale, lift that leg up and hold it just 8 inches off the floor. So if you don't feel those outer hips engage, those medial glutes, outer hips, hip flexors engage, let me know because I feel it pretty strongly. And then exhale, release. You just bring that leg in, even do a little circle here just to kind of soften up, let that leg relax a little bit, and then slide that action leg down. And then let's take the other leg up. So draw the knee in, extend that leg up. So it's like Supta Padangusthasana 1, but you're not using the hand or the belt to hold your leg. You're gripping the thigh muscles into the bone. Of course, don't forget to breathe. And then take that right leg all the way to the right, even if you do a bad pose. So look how bad my pose is here. It's okay. My left leg is coming up. It's fine. But from here, you know, I can see, oh, can I make this a little longer? Get some stretch on the frontal thigh. And then inhale, exhale, lift that leg up and hold it just maybe 8 inches. Okay, maybe a foot off the ground, that's fine. But we're not bringing it all the way up. Don't forget to breathe and then release. And we'll do 2 more times. Inhale, exhale, bring that leg up and hold. So I feel almost like that femur head is really gripping and socketing in to the hip socket, which is a good thing. We want to keep our joints together, especially as we age. There's a natural tendency for the muscles to loosen. So we want to keep that firmness, that contractibility of our muscles. And then hold that leg up and release. All right. And then let's go ahead and just come back to Supta Tadasana. Grab hold of the sticky mat, roll the biceps inside out. Okay, go ahead and bend your knees, and then let's roll over to our side, and we're going to touch upon just a couple of standing poses. So we're not going to do a lot of standing poses, but we're just going to do a few with this kind of highlight on the hips again. So let's start off in Tadasana. Now we are going to do a little bit of work with balance. So if balance is a big challenge for you, there's no shame in standing with one hand to the wall or even taking your back to the wall. That's totally fine. And we're taking Vrikshasana tree pose first. Go ahead and bend up your right leg, hold onto that right ankle, put your right foot on your inner upper left thigh. Now, if it does not go that high, don't put your foot on your knee. It's not good to put pressure on your knee, but you can put your foot on your calf, or you could even do toes on the floor like this, and then you could still work on this length on the inner leg and that contraction and firmness in the outer hip. So that's what we're going for, is keeping the hips forward, take that bent leg knee back, and then do you feel that outer knee to outer hip draw in? And there's an engagement and that firming of the outer hip. So it's like that femur head is coming into the socket. And then from here, you can even take the arms up, keep the gaze forward. Breathing is always a good idea. And then back to Tadasana and change sides. Put the left foot on the inner upper right thigh, or you can do one of the alternatives that I showed, so on the calf or on the floor. See that that standing leg kneecap is lifted up. And then with those hip bones forward like headlights, take that left inner knee back. So extend inner groin to inner knee, outer knee to outer hip. And when you do those actions, you will most likely feel that gripping and socketing in of that back outer femur head. And then from there, you can take the arms up, outer hips in. And this is a good opportunity to work with balance also, and elongating the spine, elongating the side waist. And then come back to Tadasana. Okay, we're gonna add on to this now. So take that right leg up, Vrikshasana. Let's just fold the palms at the chest for now. And then from here, you're going to release that bent leg, slightly bend your standing leg, and you're going to wrap that right leg over the left leg for Garudasana Eagle Pose. Now from here, if you just kind of hang out, you're going to feel it's almost like a pressure in the femur heads and those outer hips, which is not a good thing. We want those femur heads to be firmed in. So think here about rolling the thighs from inside out, or another way to put it is you extend from the inner groin to outer groin, maybe slightly come up into the pose, and then you should feel those outer hips firm. Again, you can have your back to the wall for this, have the hand near a wall, so take whatever you need to help with your balance, or you can just work with the balance and work on challenging your balance. Okay, the leg that's on the top, that arm goes on the bottom to intertwine the arms for Garudasana Eagle Pose. Don't let your upper arms rest on your chest. Keep those upper arms parallel to the floor, draw the shoulders down, and then extend your fingertips up and hands up like a candle flame, reaching up and extending up to the ceiling. Back to Vrikshasana. You can take the arms up and then back to Tadasana. Okay, I'll show from the side now. So I'm, going at a certain pace. If you need to slow down, again, if you need to use wall support, go ahead and take what you need. You can even take half of what I'm doing, or you could keep the pace I'm keeping. So do what makes sense for you. Left leg up, Vrikshasana, tree pose. So hips forward. I'm even going to kind of let that leg go a little bit, hip bones forward, and then I draw that leg back. And then out here, I start to feel these muscles firm and engaged. So there's a tautness to the hip joint. And then from here, I'm going to slightly bend that standing leg, take that bent leg, wrap it around the standing leg for Garudasana Eagle Pose. The leg that's on the top, that arm is on the bottom. And chest up. Don't let the arms rest on the chest. Keep the upper arms parallel to the floor. And then back to Vrikshasana and Tadasana. Okay, you can either continue to work with that, or there's another piece we're going to add on. So I'll show you what that is. You may want a belt for this one, so you can have that handy. So we're going to add in a pose called Utthita Parshva Utthita Padangusthasana, which means extended hand to leg pose with the leg to the side. So it looks like this. We'll take Vrikshasana, Garudasana, and then from here, this is where you may want to take the belt, but if you can hold your foot, go ahead and hold your foot. You'll take that belt, hold it on the inside of the leg, stand up straight and tall. First, get that upright position with the leg bent, and extend and lengthen that inner groin to inner knee to outer hip. And you can even work on just the bent leg. This is great hip strengthening, balance work. But from here, then, can you extend that leg straight out to the side? And then bring it in. We can take one more Vrikshasana and then down. Okay, let's take the other side. So remember, you can also hold your foot if that's available to you. Tree pose, Vrikshasana, Garudasana, eagle pose, back to either tree pose or Utthita Padangusthasana, and then release back to tree pose and Tadasana. Okay, I'm going to do that whole cycle one more time, right side, left side. I'm going to get rid of the belt, but you are welcome to continue to use it if that serves you, or again, you can take any part of this, you can do it half speed and work on the portions that make sense for you. Right side, Vrikshasana, tree pose. Take that inner knee back, hip bones forward. To Garudasana, eagle pose. Back to Vrikshasana, tree pose. And then Utthita Padangusthasana. And then we can go ahead and release Tadasana. And change sides. Left leg up, Vrikshasana, tree pose. To Garudasana, eagle pose. Back to Vrikshasana. And then Utthita Padangusthasana. And back to Vrikshasana. And Tadasana. And just take a moment, regain your balance, feel that sense of, can you cultivate a sense of equanimity, right side, left side, front to back. So outer hips in, lift and extend up through the side waist, up into that armpit chest, and then reach those arms down, relax your shoulders. Smooth, steady breath. Okay, to close out this sequence, we're going to move on to the floor again. Now, there is one more thing I just wanted to show you for folks if you do have any kind of limitations with your hips or with balance. So I'm going to show you one other way that you can just work with these poses, with these standing poses where we're working on hips. So if you have a chair, one thing you can do is you can take a chair near a wall. Let me show this way. And then you could stand with one side to the chair and then just take that leg up like this. So this is another really nice way to work with standing poses, to work a little bit with balance, and to work with these same types of actions on the hips. So we're working on that mobility in the hips, that length in the inner leg, and then also that strength of the outer hips. And with this, you just want to be careful that you're not leaning into the chair this way, or I think it would be more unusual to lean away, but you don't want to lean into the chair, but are you really upright on the bones of that standing leg? And then from here with those hip bones forward, you can just work on taking that hand even to the inner knee. And then from here, maybe just slightly extend away from that leg And then you'll roll even though the leg is moving away, you're turning your torso this way. So you start to get some more movement and also strength in these hips. Okay. I'm going to put the chair off to the side now. I'm going to grab a bolster and a block. And just have that bolster and block handy. We're not going to use it just yet. But for a moment here, let's simply sit up with the feet wide in Upavishta Konasana. Now, if you are very tight in the hips or hamstrings, of course, you can choose not to sit directly on the floor. You can sit up on a bolster or a block or some blanket. Let's just feel the length here on the inner legs. So press the backs of the thighs down, lift up through the side waist, lift up all the way from the sacrum to the crown of the head, and then shoulders back. And work to equally press the backs of the thighs to the floor. So you may feel that one leg is a little light, one leg is a little heavier. I feel personally that my left leg, the back of my left thigh has better contact with the floor than my right. So can I go to the bones of my legs, especially those big thigh bones, and press those thigh bones down towards the floor? And again, this is a pose you could stay in for, a few minutes. And just keep the feet natural. So natural toes. You don't want to overly flex or point. Spread the soles of the feet. Spread the carpet of the feet, as Abhijata Iyengar likes to say. Okay, now take a bolster or some type of height. You're going to sit up on that height. So you're going to sit up on that height and have the feet together, knees apart in Baddha Konasana, but we're going to add a little twist. We're going to put a block between our feet. So you're going to take that block long and flat and put it between your feet, which, if your inner groins and hips are a bit tight like mine, believe it or not, they are, your knees are probably going to fly way up in the air, but that's okay. That's okay for now. You could also do this with your back to a wall. Sometimes that's helpful for those of us who are restricted in this way. And then take your hands behind you, press the heels, press the toe mounds into the block, and then just work on extending gently inner groins to inner knees, outer knees to outer hips. Now, we're just going to be here for, maybe a minute on this recording, but, if you're doing this on your own time, it's actually a good idea to stay here for a little while. So don't stay so long that you feel like your legs are starting to seize up on you. But as long as it feels productive, like there's breathability to the pose, you don't want to be gripping on for dear life, but this is certainly a pose where you could stay a little while to kind of just let the pose do its work. So sometimes we work in ways that are kind of touch and go with the asanas. Certain poses aren't really meant to hold for a long time. You just go in, you touch on it, you go out. This is one where actually spending a little time here, just kind of hanging out here, has its benefit. Okay, now let's, just for the sake of learning, let's turn the block up on the narrow height now. And then again, have the heels, the toe mounds touching the block, and then extend inner groin to inner knee, outer knee to outer hip. Chest up, shoulders down, smooth, soft breath. Now you can also look to see, are the two knees level and equal? So I notice for myself, this right one has a tendency to go up a little bit. So can I balance out the efforts of those two legs? We'll stay here for about half a minute longer. So working with hip health, mobility, and stability, strength in the hips, this is going to be beneficial for you in many ways, not only for the health of your hips, but healthy hips supports healthy knees. Also, that leads to, ankles as well, right? And then also think about what sits on top of the whole hip complex here, right? Your spine, right? So keeping your hips healthy and strong and supple is going to allow you to walk better, into old age. It's going to help your spine stay healthier and also your knees as well. Okay, let's remove the block now And now you're going to take those feet together, knees apart, and maybe a bit more freedom comes into these legs. Maybe you can even scoot off that bolster and just see, do you get a little more freedom now in those inner groins? I know for myself, I tend to be fairly restricted in this Baddha Konasana. My knees tend to be kind of up like this. But after that work with the block, they come down a little lower, right? So here you can even do a little bit of movement, not to press the knees down, but take that right outer thigh down and just press that right outer thigh down, kind of hit that leg down, even if the opposite leg comes up. And then change the sides, take that left outer thigh, hit it down, even if the opposite leg comes up. And then equally, not to force the knees, but extend inner groin to inner knee, outer knee to outer hip. Okay, let's get those legs extended out straight. Let the backs of the knees open. So after doing bent-legged poses, especially if you have sensitive knees, it's good to get those legs straight. Okay, and then from here, we could take a simple Supta Swastikasana. This will be our last pose. So this will be like our Shavasana, just because we did a short practice. I'm going to just make this short and sweet here. So you're going to lie down on the floor, have that bolster in front of you, cross your shins. So I'm crossing my shins just like I would sit cross-legged, and then let those ankles and feet rest on the bolster. So there's just a softness to the legs, a softness to the ankles and feet. Feel my ankles and feet just kind of wrap around that bolster. And then from there, you lie down, let those inner legs rest, let the abdomen rest. This might feel really nice on your back and your sacrum as well. You can close your eyes, just let yourself settle in here. And you'll want to stay on this side for about 2 minutes, 2-3 minutes. And then you'll simply change the cross of the legs and then take the other side. Now, if you'd like to do a straight-legged Shavasana after this, you're welcome to do that. But when you're ready to come out, you'll simply roll to the side and then sit up to conclude your practice. Namaste. All right, so this was a short but sweet practice. Hopefully it serves you. So you could always take this as a springboard and add on to it, use it in preparation for other poses or incorporate it into a longer practice, or you could, of course, just take it as it is. So thank you again, folks, for tuning in. Thank you for supporting what I do. Your comments, questions, and requests are always welcome, and see you next time.